So in my game, you start out in this cabin, which kind of is like the home of the player. You quickly run outside as the cabin is very interesting, as the inside is not supposed to be the intent of the game. You're supposed to go outside and you're suddenly shocked with the view of a large mountain in the distance, and potentially a church to the right, to the left, a village to the right. You probably walk down, see what's around, go in the trees. It gets quite dark, which is as intended to try and create a sense of danger for the player, because mobs will spawn in those areas if the game is fully realised. There's firelights and various after effects to try and make the area feel more grungy. They haven't worked as fully as intended, but they're pretty good. Inside the church, there's a fair few fire effects, which are supposed to create like a haze in the church, make it feel a little bit more dreamy. So I've amped up the hazes. Then capture the church. This is one example of an objective. So leaving the church afterwards, going back the path you came, you don't really know where else to go. That side's kind of all surrounded by walls. There's not much to do. There's a village back. The way back in the village, if you might have spotted it beforehand, you can see a large tower in the distance. Just check out the village just in case it's safe first. See what's around. It seems pretty desolate. You're the only survivor in this world. It's Combat Mountain. Everyone else has killed each other. That's the theme of the game. An infinitely progressing level game. Such as Risk of Rain, more time progresses, the things you pick up from the chest that you see along the way. Such as this one hidden in this little back alley here that you would have noticed if you've seen the clearing in the path of trees. That was intentionally placed to play on the occlusion and the lines of sight and the light in the distance breaking the darkness is all intended. Those lines of sight all throughout. As for general progression of the game, of the player, as seen in terms of playtesting, more after effects, and inside here under the chest is one of those passive buffs that would be implemented in the game. Yeah, you keep exploring. It's a good world. Yeah, you might notice something new every time you walk past it. I mean, that's something you saw earlier, but you might have forgotten, maybe. The main crossroad hub is designed to have lots of triangle shapes around it to present choices to the player for which direction they choose, and they can always come back to a familiar place. I learned this from the Unreal level design handbook. So here would be a boss fight, an example. So the idea would be that you'd have to complete both for the boss fight and potentially capture a church before you can move to the third level. There'd hopefully be 3 in each level, as there is in here with the magic church. There'd hopefully be 3 in each level, but only 2 are required to get to the next. So this is as talking for returning to the common paths, the well-trodden paths to try and progress further in your adventure up the mountain. The landscape has a gradient from low to bottom, and it's all continuously upwards to make like a feeling of progression, getting closer and closer. At no point in the game should you be walking backwards. Is the thought process, unless you're going to another path, but you're not walking backwards along the mountain. So here's another village. These villages are intended to potentially serve some function in the future. However, it's more for just the aesthetic of the level and building out the depth of it and making it feel more real. Yeah, there's some good mesh, some good rock cliffs that I spent quite a lot of time on trying to get to look perfect and not have too many repetitions and whatnot. Reaching the end of the level here, it's getting a bit darker, a bit gloomier. sun's behind a slightly higher wall. Trees are a little bit thinner. Yeah, it just feels a little bit less safe. But there's a nice little safe spot over here with a relatively nice view over the land with a secret artifact chest. So the two mechanics that I added were the three mechanics that I added. You'll see that soon. Was the capturing, the clicking on the boss fight, so the pop up and the interaction, and this teleportation to end the level. There's another one. And falling off here and dying and the level ending and you respawning was another one. So here's the kind of overview of the map. You can see a lot of the map's kind of structural layout and some particle effects, the smoke that I mentioned, as aforementioned. Yeah. And the gradient as well that I mentioned from low to high texture. The distant mountain in the background, Compound Mountain, is supposed to be much larger than the actual scale of the map. My original idea was to have lots of them around it and then teleporting between them, but the lag was too much, so I had to just stick to one level. Yeah, here you can see the example of the well-beaten paths. There's actually fewer trees along the well-beaten path as well, and a higher density of lampposts, just to try and make you feel extra safe. It just draws the player back there after they move on from that. Yeah, and here's just going through some of the landscaping and foliage tools I used. I didn't use a huge amount, but it was because I was using quite a large map, larger than I should have, I do admit. So it took some time to get used to it, and much more, and it hurt my computer a bit too much, which isn't as powerful as the school computers, as the uni computers. Yeah, as you can see, you can wander around. This building and the house that the players spawn in are all made in individual brick slots from the asset pack that you'll see from earlier, and they're all asset built ones. Same with the final door. Thank you for listening.